ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Now, welcome, Angry Faithful. Today we got the head guy for VETFEST. That's going to happen, November 5th and 6th?
That is correct.
All right. What do you got? What do you got plans for this event this year?
So this year is our Window World second annual VETFest DFW coming Saturday and Sunday, November 5th and 6th. This is a big year for us. Obviously, we have Window World as our title sponsor. So we wanted to thank Window World DFW for that. We also have bringing in the American flag, the all veteran group, who are all former Army Golden Knights. So that's a big deal for us. We also have a local singer, Don Penley, who is going to be doing the national anthem. We've got some big sponsors this year. We also have Benny Keith, Coca-Cola, and as of Friday, Best Buy has joined us as well. The location for VETFest DFW this year is going to be at the Trinity River Distillery. And they have already talked to us about making the distillery the home of VETFest from here on out.
That's cool.
It is very nice. It's very welcoming.
So what guests do you have this year? Is it the same ones from last year?
We do. We have Patrick Kilpatrick. He's an actor. He was on NCIS Los Angeles, CSI. He's a great guy, a personal friend of mine. This year, it looks like we're also going to have Tim Abell. And if you've seen the movie Sniper with Steven Seagal in it, Tim played Vic.
Okay.
The movie guy. So we get to welcome him this year. We also have this year the Fort Worth Police Department Bagpipe and Drum Group, who has confirmed last week that they would also like to partner with us from here on out to make it their annual fall fundraiser. So that's great news to have a police department backing you.
Okay, awesome. So a lot of headliners, huh?
It's a big year. It really is. So we're already starting to look at next year. But
Okay.
As you know, we need to get through the next weeks and put this one behind us.
Yeah, I mean it's coming up. I was worried. I was like, oh crap, I gotta get all this stuff beforehand. And this is like in August when you're talking about that. I finally got a better soundboard to where I can record everything and have like 3 different settings and everything. And I actually,
Nice.
Yeah, and this year, the one good thing I love about this is I'm gonna have, if I'm able to do it, and I tested it out this summer, which I'll end up having like hopefully 3 recordings instead of just the 1.
All right.
So that was fun.
That I don't know if your listeners want to come in for the weekend, but I want to let you know that Hampton Inn DFW South, Airport South, is also partnering with us. They've given us a great rate, so I want to make sure I mention them as well.
Awesome.
And again, they're from here on out. So, if we've expanded this much, if you remember last year, we maybe had 100 people, including all the volunteers and the vendors and that. And this year we have the Trinity River Distillery, who is our presented by sponsor. They're adding us. They've already added us to their event schedule on their website. They're doing email blasts. They're adding us to their radio spots, and everybody that is involved between vendors, the national anthem singer, the all veteran group, everybody's promoting this. So I have no idea what to expect this year for attendance.
That's good. I mean, we had like a little bit of complications last year, but nothing like big enough to worry about it. It was like a scuff on the knee type deal.
Yeah,
I still like the crackheads. That was fucking hilarious when you finally told me. He was like, dude, we had 2 crackheads helping us out and we just paid only $200. I was like, dude, like, warn a guy beforehand. I mean, that helped out.
No, we really didn't know that until after the fact. But last year, me and one of the board members, Mike McMullen, we put this together in like 6 weeks. Or the last year, we put it together in like 6 weeks. So when New Year's turned the corner, we gave it some time, let everybody settle in with the new year, and then we started going after everything.
Yeah.
We're going to have all kinds of food vendors. We're going to have retail vendors for people to come in and, shop local. Of course, the distillery, Trinity River Distillery, is going to be offering tasting tours. They're just going to do a whole lot for us. We'll have a silent auction. And we have our DJ is Jennifer Harris, who is also an Air Force veteran. She's back with us now.
Okay, cool. But yeah, that was another thing I needed to ask you is a friend of mine. Did you didn't contact Black Rifle Coffee, have you?
No.
Okay, because I was talking to one of the guys. And they were talking about, because I was told him, he's like, yeah, we got this thing in Fort Worth called VETFEST. He's like, dude, I got an email from them. I was like, Kurt finally contact you? He's like, no, it's not. It's in like Georgetown. I was like, no, we're doing it in Fort Worth. I guess there's like several of them that call themselves VETFEST.
Yeah, maybe throughout Texas. I know there's one south. But the last I heard, they had to cancel for some reason. I didn't ask, none of my business. But we have here for VETFEST DFW, as I've mentioned, and you can now see, we have such an incredible support system now. The Trinity River Distillery is in the process of purchasing an actual, like a huge concert stage which sits behind the distillery, and she has already mentioned, or the distillery has already mentioned, that maybe next year we can look at doing a concert. So
yeah, because that was one of your ideas to set up. You just basically have a concert and do it the same way, but you have a concert and a lot of the proceeds go to veteran charities.
Yeah, the money that we are raising, as you know, if people have been following you, we have transitioned from helping folks with the basic needs, the food, the rent, and so forth, since there's so many other programs out there that do the exact same thing. We have transitioned last year to become a mobile kitchen program that will allow us to continue serving the military folks at deployments or homecomings or family day, or if they're at the rifle range or the firing range or whatever the case may be. Along with, now we can open up get rid of that tunnel vision, and we can open everything up, and we can offer our services to other veteran organizations. If they have any outdoor events or something, we can come out and we'll serve them, the hot dogs or chips and soda, whatever the case may be, at no cost. Because once we get the trailer manufactured and wrapped, the trailer will market itself.
Well, what's your time frame on that? Because I can,
I would like to be in talks with the manufacturer by the end of the year. Now, last year when they sent me the cost on it, manufacturing just the trailer itself with all the kitchen items, it was going to run about $63,000 for a 30-foot by 8.5-foot trailer.
Just one of those small lunch trailers.
Yeah, somewhat. It's going to be 20 feet of kitchen, and the last 10 feet is going to be space. I want to get a 4-person golf cart to travel with us, and then also have space for some storage and so forth. So, I think our locations are different for Saturday, for our event on Saturday, and then Sunday, November 6th. Our dinner and auction is going to be at the Big Apple Cafe. They are a very big supporter of veteran and first responders. So I expect Sunday to be crowded as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because the dinner on that last year was, we got it beforehand, and it ended up like everybody, that whole diner was full, and that food was great.
Yeah. Well, we were hoping to get 30 or 40 people to show up, and we sold out. We sold over 100 tickets last year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with all the time frame that we had, we had to pay a little bit more on things and so forth. So we barely, pretty much broke even last year. This year, we expect to make much more, and hopefully people will dig deeper in their pockets. So we'll see where it goes.
Need to get an open bar so everybody's drunk, so they can just not listen to their wives afterwards.
Oh yeah, yeah. As long as each individual's credit card is on file, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But our Sunday, the dinner and auction tickets are $40. They can find them on our website at VETFestDFW.com, or they can reach me. My number, Kurt Shwab, is 817-896-0040, and we'll get you a ticket, or we'll put you on a list, and you can pay at the door and do whatever you want. I will mention, David, that some of the items this year is going to be a tandem jump with the all veteran group at a date to be determined. We are also looking at possibly having, it's not confirmed yet, possibly having a signed guitar from Randy Rogers.
Oh, that's nice.
So,
and to let everybody know what a tandem jump is, a tandem jump is basically you're not putting on the backpack, someone else is putting on the parachute. Sorry. They're putting on the parachute. I keep on wanting to say backpack, fucking dyslexia. Parachute, and they hook you up to them, and you jump up at the same time. So you don't really have to have that much experience jumping out of airplanes and using a parachute. It is a lot of fun. Everybody that I've talked to that's done tandem, it's a lot of fun with them. But the one thing you got to remember is when you're doing a tandem jump is don't freak out because you got another person behind you. Eddie Stubbs was talking about doing a tandem jump into a combat zone, and the guy he was taking the interpreter with him, and the interpreter ended up throwing up and getting all kinds of irrationality on himself and everything, and Andy just had to slightly put him to sleep. But that was a different situation.
It'd be a great deal. We're still working on silent auction items. We've got baseballs from the Texas Rangers. We're looking at the Dallas Stars for player alumni and auction items. So we're not finished quite yet, but we're really looking forward to this year.
It sounds like it. Now on what we're going to do is we're going to put all the details and everything on the podcast, and so you can click and find out the website and where everything's going to be at. But I honestly, this is one of the events I really like going to. I mean, I don't really get to enjoy it as much as everybody else gets to enjoy it because I'm usually doing the podcast doing it live at the location. But like last year, I barely even got to. I got to meet a lot of the interesting people and had them on the podcast. But the thing is I ended up just. You ended up telling me, it's like, hey, we had this over here, and we had this over here. I was like, oh, really? I missed out on that.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I've always said, I always like to take care of the people that support us and take care of us. So, like I mentioned, this is our Window World second annual VETFEST DFW, and the other sponsors that have supported us and continue to support us is Benny Keith, Coca-Cola. We have the Hampton Inn, DFW Airport South. We have the Apple Cafe, Big Apple Cafe. We have the Trinity River Distillery, and we have Best Buy. So we just can't thank everybody enough.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's hard to get, especially doing these types of events, is actually getting sponsors and everything. I was trying to work with a person in town doing a couple of charity events here, and they're like scrambling up. I was like, I hate to tell you this, but this is a small town, and a lot of people don't want to spend that big of a money. If you want to do events and everything, you have to go down to the bigger cities.
Right.
And even then, you still break even.
Well, if like this is our second one, so people are starting to recognize us.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, the Fort Worth Police Department bagpipe and drum group. People know if you're going into your second, third year, they're going to follow you.
Yeah.
If something happens, and you don't get the sponsors, you may have to scale back a little bit, but the key is you do not want to just cancel, because if you cancel your event, you're done. You're going to lose everybody.
Yeah, that's the same problem with doing podcasts and everything like that. If I don't keep this up and do at least like the amount that I said I was going to do each and every week, I'll start losing. And I have been losing a little bit, but I ended up like looking at the stats, and I'm like, I gained people overseas, which is strange.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Well, we're looking forward to having you again this year, David. We may or may not have another colleague of yours who she is a former Marine, and she also does podcasts, but in the south part of Texas.
Oh, that's fine. I'll end up chatting her up. It's no big deal. I've had shit. I'm still trying to get the defectors. No, not defectors. Anyways, I've had like a lot of people of other podcasts and everything. I got one like at the end of October that wrote a book. And it's coming out in November. Pig Latin, which is all of his funny cop stories and everything, which are all true. And he's told me a couple of them. Hell, I posted one on TikTok. I shortened it up and everything of one of his stories because I ended up doing a little skit on my podcast, and he was talking about it. It's like, that's the only reason why I wanted to be on the podcast, because you ended up doing that skit, and I loved it. And he ended up talking about one of his it was a no knock warrant, and it's on TikTok. You can watch it. That being a charity podcast, I'm not going to mention it, but a lot of listeners that actually listen to this has watched it and messaged me and asking me, "Are you going to do different guns with that?" I was like, "No, that was a one-time deal."
Wow.
I'll send it. I'll send it to you, and it's fucking hilarious.
All right, no, that sounds good. Appreciate it.
But yeah, it's interesting on the basic fact of what you've actually accomplished on this, and you're actually a really decent guy to the point where you're doing a lot of helpful stuff and making the veteran community, which here lately, I don't know why, it's starting to look like what happened to the Vietnam vets, which, and even the Korean vets, which are not really shined up that much, because it's one of those forgotten wars. And you actually come in, it's like, hey, I don't give a shit, just come in, do your thing, hang out, have some fun, and let's help these people out.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. We, now that we transitioned into the mobile kitchen program, I don't know, I don't remember if we talked about this, but, Humana Life is also back on board with us for a second year as well. And last year, I started to explain the program to them on a conference call, and they have already deemed us the only veterans organization with a mobile kitchen program here in Texas. So that's a big deal. So,
Yeah.
They are they're coming on, and they're going to add some volunteers to help support. Best Buy is coming on board to also support with volunteers. So it's really great. We've got a lot more people out there promoting it, a lot more people wanting to come in and help on both days. So, if any of your listeners have any questions or whatever, I've given my number. Feel free to contact me directly. And we'll try to answer any questions or get you tickets or get you set up. If you're a vendor, food vendor, if you want to be out there, contact me. So
Hopefully the food vendors aren't like, because I went to the TAC, and I'm talking, it was at that Carlsbad Cavern down in San Antonio.
mm-hmm.
I'm talking like $10 for a burger. And it wasn't one of like the $10 burgers. It was actually just one of those. We found what looks like burger meat and put it on the grill.
Oh.
It was. I was like, people are paying $10 for that. I was like, yeah, oh fuck that, I'm going.
Yeah, it's the same here. Burger, cheeseburgers, $10, $11. It's just the way life is now.
Yeah.
I know that we're setting up one food vendor right now with Mexican style food. We're trying to get a dessert vendor out here, and maybe one or two other different types of vendors. Another food vendor that contacted me yesterday is the Patriot Sandwich Shop in Denton.
What is that?
He was an Army veteran, owns a sandwich shop, and he focuses on veteran stuff. I'm going up there Tuesday to meet with him. He's going to be a vendor this year at VETFEST. So we're really looking forward to it. So we're doing all we can. We want to focus on veteran, veteran businesses or veteran organizations if they want to do a booth. We're just anything that we can think of. We're trying it out.
Yeah. Well, that's a good couple of minutes on this. If I'll leave the description of all the stuff and the description of all the places that you can check us out at, even on our Facebook page, Instagram page. That's a weird one. I'll try to get it on there, but check them out on vetfest.org. And
no,
thank you.
VetFestDFW.com.
Oh, okay. Man,
and by the way, to your listeners, Angry Me Production is back with us for a second year in a row.
Yes. Only because I like to travel, and I somewhat like you. Not fully, just somewhat like you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's we're on an even keel there then.
Yeah. All right, Kurt. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for all the information you're giving up for this year's VETFest. I'm David Dickerman. Thank you all for listening. Goodbye.